Hi folks, Chase Steele here from the Faculty Union, otherwise known as the BCAHE. I want to apologize ahead of time for the unpolished state of this video. Given the delays in bargaining we've experienced, we felt it more important to be quick rather than to get hung up on aesthetics. If this turns out terribly, feel free to poke fun of us after you get your application ready for promotion. In any event, this video is going to help you get acquainted with the new promotions for adjunct faculty members and tenure-track faculty members who are moonlighting or teaching during the summer. We will cover eligibility, criteria, benefits, and responsibilities associated with the lecturer promotions. Lastly, I'll give you a brief to-do list to get you prepared. Eligibility is pretty straightforward. Lecturer 1 requires either 9 quarters and 90 credits if you're currently at base, or you can apply immediately for Lecturer 1 status if you are currently at Senior Rate 1. Lecturer 2 requires either SR2 status, Senior Rate 2 that is, or later on down the line, Lecturer 1s who have served another 9 quarters and taught 90 credits at BC as a Lecturer 1 can then apply for Lecturer 2 status. Criteria for adjunct faculty members. Applicants for Lecturer 1 status will need to show that they have received a meets or exceeds expectations on their most recent part-time performance review. They'll also need to be able to document 30 hours of professional development activities since being hired at BC. Lecturer 2 applicants will need to similarly demonstrate that they've received meets or exceeds expectations on their most recent reviews, and they'll need to be able to show 45 hours of professional development activities since promotion to Senior Rate 1 or Lecturer 1. A note on the asterisks that you'll see after expectations on this slide. Past evaluations did not have a rating. New ones will, but until then, deans are going to be charged with making the determination based on past reviews and any supplemental evidence you may choose to submit. As far as PD goes, deans should be permissive of just about any documented work or time that you can show that has either improved your teaching or your command of your discipline. Examples might include faculty commons programming, trainings, PD day sessions you've attended here at BC or on other campuses, departmental and division-led trainings on things like UDL, conferences that you've attended, papers that you've published, etc. I'll speak a bit more about documenting your professional development activities later on in the slideshow. Special cases. At this point, some of you are probably wondering, what happens if I don't have a current part-time performance review that was scheduled but hasn't been completed yet? If you apply for lecturer status and you're not up to date on your part-time performance reviews, the deans will be charged with making sure that one happens during the quarter that you apply. As a side note, at this point, any full-time faculty can do these reviews. Deans often delegate to program chairs, and program chairs can delegate to any who are willing and want to make a little extra cash. See Article 16.46 if you want to know about the money. I'd encourage everyone, though, to please do your duty to your colleagues. Help us get these done swiftly. Let your dean know if you're willing to help with part-time performance reviews. Secondly, since past reviews did not include a rating, applicants are being encouraged to include a compilation and analysis of student evals from the past year. Analysis of the multiple choice question data is sufficient. These are the ones that are reported in percentage form. Also, the administration would like to see a 50 to 70% response rate with these course evaluations. If you don't have as many as you'd like in the 50 to 70% range, feel free to dip a little further into the past and to get a good sample size and make your case for promotion. Criteria for full-time faculty. Applicants for Lecturer 1 and Lecturer 2 will need to have received a meets or exceeds expectations on their most recent tenure or post-tenure review. If you were granted tenure, this suffices. If you've had a recent post-tenure review, it may or may not have included the new meets or exceeds expectations ratings. If it doesn't, the dean will have to make a translation between the old ratings and the new scale. You will also need to submit a minimum of 3 student course evaluations from Moonlights or summer courses and all student evaluations from Moonlights or summer from the last 12 months. Now you'll notice there's an asterisk after that. For this year and this year only, the requirement will be deemed satisfied if the applicant submits student evaluations from a minimum of 3 such courses taught during the previous 24 months. You'll also need to provide a written qualitative and quantitative analysis of the student evaluations submitted. Benefits associated with these promotions. Adjunct faculty members will see their pay rates as a Lecturer 1 increase to $4,000 per 5-credit class. This is based on a general discussion lecture course. Adjustments will be made as needed for other types of courses. Lecturer 2 will receive $4,350 per 5-credit class. Once you've received lecturer status, you also can request annual contracts, which will be a subject for another video another time. But you must be a lecturer in order to request one at all. Lastly, you'll be granted the right to vote for program chair. Full-time faculty members, you will see the pay rates increase in similar fashion, and that will be all. Responsibilities. Upon receiving Lecturer 1 status, you'll be expected to keep 45 minutes per week per 5-credit class of scheduled office hours. The word scheduled is in scare quotes because it's entirely appropriate that your office hours might be virtual or even just a guarantee that you'll be available by phone at that time. There will also be expected participation in department and division meetings, events, and activities. Once receiving Lecturer 2 status, the office hours will bump to 1 hour per week. It's not an extra hour, it's just moving up from 45 to 1. 45 minutes to 1 hour, that is. Department and division activities will continue, and there will also be an expectation now of participation in appropriate college-wide governance activities, especially graduation. Additionally, you may perform part-time reviews with compensation. What to do now? Here's a list of info to collect and get in order. 1, you need to know your current pay rate. Are you being paid at base, SR1, or SR2? If you're not sure about this, you can consult with your division's operation director. They'll be able to help you out with this. Secondly, you need to count up your quarters served and your credits taught. You're going to need that for the application. Third, figure out the date of your last part-time performance review. Once again, your DOD can help you with this. Also, the assistant deans oftentimes are in charge of part-time review. Sometimes deans will know as well. But between the 3 of them, they can definitely give you a date. If they can't for some reason, then you can ask Win Chow in HR at 425-564-2274. An important note here, you do not need a copy of the review. Your deans will request e-versions via Human Resources at the appropriate time in the process. 4. Prepare a list of your professional development activities, including dates, titles, and brief descriptions. Be sure to indicate how many hours each activity represents. If these descriptors don't exactly fit your particular professional development activities, then use your best judgment or perhaps consult with your dean about how to properly document your PD activities. Lastly, decide if you will submit a compilation and analysis of your recent student course evaluations to supplement your application. If you'll recall, when we were discussing part-time criteria, the old part-time performance reviews didn't include a rating of any kind. If you're not sure about the strength of your application, it's probably best to submit these additional evals and analysis to bolster your application. This option to supplement with additional student course evaluations is of course a suggestion for part-time candidates. Full-time folks who have been moonlighting or teaching summer courses and want to apply for Lecturer 1 or Lecturer 2 status do not have a choice about submitting a compilation and analysis that is both quantitative and qualitative. Once you have all this stuff together, you're pretty much ready to go. You should find the relevant application forms attached to this email that linked you to the video. Fill out those applications, attach any of the necessary stuff, and make sure that you submit it to your dean by January 26th. If you have any questions about this process, feel free to contact any of your BCAHE, your union, executive officers. All of our information you'll find below with email and phone numbers. You can also probably ask your deans. They should be pretty well up to speed on this process by now.